Hi there, Tutor Bednego here. Welcome to today's session. Alright, so in today's session we are continuing with our series of videos which are meant to help the grade 12s as they are preparing for their final exams. Okay, so we are currently answering Mathematics Paper 2 2023 internal, and we are now on question 4, which is a question on construction. Okay, so in the previous session I gave you some tips on how you're supposed to answer this question. In this session I'll simply go direct to the question. Alright, so the first thing we do is we go through the question. And this one says, answer the whole of this question on a sheet of plain paper. So we're required to answer this question on a sheet of plain paper. And then the first one says, construct a trapezium ABCD in which AB is 10 centimeters, BC is 8 centimeters, AD is 7 centimeters, angle ABC 60 degrees, and angle BAD is 90 degrees. So I mentioned in the previous session where we're solving the question on construction in the paper 2024 Mathematics Paper 2 internal that you need to first of all come up with a draft. So this is what we looked at in the other session. So here we've been asked to draw a trapezium. So in case you don't know how a trapezium is supposed to be shaped, like how many corners it should have, simply count the number of letters you have there. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So meaning this is a four-sided figure. So all you have to do is you draw a four-sided figure and then you plug in the values. We said the first two, okay, the first two letters are representing the base of the shape. So AB is going to be our base, okay, and then we plug in the values. You plug them in an anti-clockwise direction. So it's going to be A, B, C, D. So meaning up here we're going to have C, then down here we're going to have D. For the sake of those who may be watching this video for the first time, who did manage to see the previous one, I'll give another example. Let's say you are asked to draw another trapezium PQRS. So you can count 1, 2, 3, 4. So meaning it's a four-sided figure. Simply draw any four-sided figure. This one looks like a rectangle. So the first two, that's going to be our base, PQ, and then RS. So you go in and clockwise. So PQRS. Let's say they're asking you to draw a triangle ABC. You count 1, 2, 3. It has three corners, meaning it's a triangle. The first two, that's your base. ABC. Why is this important? This is important because if you switch the dimensions for AB, you put them there, your shape will become different from what the examiner expects of you. So you have to make sure that you plug in the values correctly and you plug in the dimensions and angles correctly. So we're dealing with a trapezium ABCD, implying that our shape should be a four-sided figure also. So let us switch to a new plain paper. And then we come up with our draft. So our draft will be here. So let's just draw a very small four-sided figure. Okay, so this is trapezium ABCD. So meaning AB is our base, and then C, D on top there, and then we can plug in the values. So it says AB is 10 centimeters, so you can say 10 centimeters there. BC is 8 centimeters, so BC, that's 8 centimeters. AD is 7 centimeters, AD is 7 centimeters. Then angle ABC is 60 degrees, ABC is 60 degrees there. And then angle BAD is 90 degrees. BAD, we have a 90 degrees there. So this is what we're going to use to draw our diagram. So what we're going to do now is I'll get my 60 centimeters ruler, and then I'll draw a faint line. So my AB is supposed to be 10 centimeters, so I'll draw a faint line greater than 10 centimeters, like that. You can see the line is faint. And then I'm going to get my compass. For this one I'll use a 15 centimeter ruler, AB is supposed to be 10, so I'll get 10 centimeters from my ruler here. Then I'll stand on the faint line I drew. I'll make a dot on the line, then I'll strike an arc just crossing the line. You can see how faint the arc is as well. Then where the arc is crossing the line, I'll put a dot there. Why am I putting a dot? Because I know this is going to be A, this is going to be B, and to make it easy for me to revisit these points, it is easier when I have put a dot. So when you put a dot, make sure you take note of the dot, and then quickly you plug in the value that's supposed to be there. So I'm supposed to have a B there, supposed to have an A there, and now I can make these lines dark. So I'll simply plug in my pencil into the dot and then do the same the other side also, like that, and then I'll draw the line. So I don't draw all the way to the end, I stop near the center so that I don't make a mistake of bypassing the point. Okay, so you avoid rubbing when you're dealing with this question. When you start rubbing, your work becomes dirty. All right, then I'm told to say here it's supposed to be okay. We can start with a 90 degrees. This part is an angle there, it's supposed to be a 90 degrees. So I'll get my protractor, then I'll put it right there, making sure that my center is on A, and then my 90 degrees is there. So I'll put a dot there, and then I'll draw a faint line connecting point A to the new point, ensuring that the faint line passes through that new point. So this line should be faint. As you can see, it is faint. And then what is this distance? It's 7 centimeters from A to D. So I'll get 7 centimeters from my ruler. And then I'll stand on A, and then I'll strike an arc on the faint line, just crossing the faint line. You see that arc there? I don't know if you can see it. It's right here. And then I'll put a dot where the arc is crossing the line. That is where I'm supposed to have the next point, which is supposed to be point D up there. So I'll put a D there, and then I'll darken this line AD, like that. And then here I'm supposed to have a 60 degrees, so I'll get my protractor, and then I'll make sure the center is on B. And then using a protractor, you always start measuring from the wanted side. So this side and this side, which one is the wanted side? This side is the wanted side. So you always start measuring using the readings that are starting on 0. So the outer readings are the ones that are starting on 0. So meaning it's going to be 0. My 60 is there, somewhere there. The protractor moved. So I'll use the tip of the compass. This is supposed to be 60 degrees. So I'll put my 60 there. And then I'll draw a faint line. Okay. Make sure the line passes through the points. So I'll draw a faint line. You see the line is faint compared to these two dark lines. And then I'm told this distance is supposed to be 8 centimeters. So you can see I'm following the draft. It's supposed to be 8 centimeters, so I'll get 8 centimeters from my ruler. Then I'll stand on B, and then I'll strike an arc, just crossing the line. While the arc crosses the line, I'll put a dot there, and then I'll darken the line up to the new point. Remember, you always meet the lines in the center, so this is supposed to be C. Then up here, I'm supposed to join these to complete the shape, like that. So that is going to be our shape. Now that we're done with the shape, we can plug in some dimensions. So this is 10 centimeters, this one is 8 centimeters, this one is 7 centimeters. We have a right angle here. Okay, then we have 60 degrees right there. Okay, so this is question 4. A. Now go to question 4B. So B says measure and write the length of CD. CD. You need to measure and write the length of CD. For this one, we'll use a ruler. Okay, CD is going to be equal to, that is 6 centimeters. So I'm going to say CD is equal to 6 centimeters. Then I'll underline using a ruler and not freehand. That is my CD. We continue. Within the trapezium ABCD, draw the locus of points which are 2 centimeters from CD. So CD is a line. CD is a line. What they're asking us to find is another line which is 2 centimeters away from this line but within the shape. Okay, so how you come up with that line? It's supposed to be 2 centimeters away. So you get your compass, you go to your ruler and get 2 centimeters. Okay, once you get 2 centimeters, the line is CD. So you go on point C and then point D, and then you do the following. So you stand on point C, inside, towards the inside, like inside of the shape, not up here, but inside. Okay, mind you, this line is supposed to be parallel to this one, but inside the shape. So here I'll draw, I'll actually strike this arc. Okay, if you want, you can go all the way down, but my interest is just the top of the arc, so there's no need for me to extend it all the way down. So I'll simply do this without changing the radius. I come here with the 2 centimeters, I strike an arc, I come there, I strike an arc. What I'm interested in are the tops of these two arcs. So now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get a ruler and then I join the tops of these arcs. Okay, so I'll simply test there, it's passing right on the line. Here it's a bit lower, I'll move it a little. So I test by drawing a faint line. Okay, seems like we're okay. Then I'll first draw a faint line. I confirm that it's passing right on top of the arcs. Then I can now make it dark. Inside the shape, this line is supposed to be dark, but outside it's supposed to be faint. You can see the difference. Inside it's dark, outside the shape it's faint. Then I'll label, say this is question B, question 4, C. So this is C, Roman numeral 1. And I'm done. And now go to the next one. Next one says 9 centimeters from B. So B is a point. I want to draw a locus of points which are exactly 9 centimeters from B. So B being a point, I'm going to get my ruler and my compass. Then I get 9 centimeters from my ruler. And then I'll go to point B. And then I'll strike an arc which is supposed to cut through the shape. So inside the shape, this arc is supposed to be dark, but outside it's supposed to be faint. So I'll start by first of all making it faint. Then I'll extend it outwards like that. But inside the shape, this arc is supposed to be dark. Outside it's supposed to be faint. So you can see inside is dark. Then outside you can see it's faint. So I'll now label this one from right outside. I'll say this is C Roman numeral 2, 1, 2. It is 9 centimeters. This arc is 9 centimeters from B. And then the next one says equidistance from AB and AD. So AB and AD, these two are lines. So in other words, we're bisecting the angle they are forming. Okay, so to bisect an angle, what you do is you get your compass, you open to a reasonable radius, you stand on the common point. So if you look at this question, AB and AD, which point is appearing twice? Which one is common to both of these two? It's A. We have an A there, we have an A there. So I open to a reasonable radius and then I stand on the common point, which in this case is A. And then I'll strike an arc on line AD, another arc on line AB. Okay, so you can see there's an arc here, there's also an arc there. And then what I can do, I can use the same radius, or I can open to another reasonable radius slightly more than what I had, and then I'll go to the arcs I struck at first. So I'll stand there, and then I'll strike an arc in the center of these two arcs within the shape. Okay, without changing the radius again, I'll go to the other point, the other arc, and then I'll simply cross, because my interest is just where these two arcs are meeting. So just a small arc, don't make it big as well. Okay, neatness is part of the exam when it comes to this question. Where these two arcs are meeting, that is my point of interest. So I'll now connect that new point with the common point where I started from, which is point A. So now this line is supposed to be drawn in such a way that it should exit the shape. Okay, like that. Shouldn't just be reaching there where the arcs are meeting. And then inside the shape, this line is supposed to be dark. Outside, it's supposed to be faint. So we can actually label it as C, Roman numeral 3. Okay, so we are done drawing the shape. We now go to the last part of the question, which is requiring of us to shade. So this one, you have to make sure that you read the question and understand it. Very, very important. Okay, so the regions are demarcated by lines and arcs. So this here is a region. It's demarcated by this arc, this line, and this line, forming this region here. Even this small one is a region. This one here is a region. This one is a region. This one is a region there. That one there, or another one there. Okay, so regions are demarcated by lines and arcs. So now let us read. So this one says a point E within the trapezium ABCD is such that it is greater than or equal to 2 centimeters from CD. Why do we have 2 centimeters from CD? Oh, this is the one we didn't indicate. It's supposed to be 2 centimeters. Okay, so this line here is 2 centimeters away from CD. CD is this line. So we're told to say this point, it should be greater than or equal to. So greater than or equal to meaning it's lying above. So if we are coming from this side, coming here, meaning we are going to say this is above. So it's lying down here in this region. Let me use that word, it's better. Okay, down here. Greater than or equal to. It could be touching this line, but it is down here. Okay, so we've established that it is down here. Down here, how many regions do we have? We have this one, okay, we have this one, we have that one. So those are the possible regions we have. It could be this one we're looking for, this one, or this one. So let's continue reading. Okay, less than or equal to 9 centimeters from B. Less than or equal to 9 centimeters from B. Where do you have 9 centimeters? This one here. This is 9 centimeters from B. So if it is less than or equal to, meaning we cancel this region. Okay, we can cross this one out. So we just have two regions remaining now. We have this one and this one here. Remember, going up there, the demarcating line is this one. Okay, and now the arc is also demarcating. So we can't go this side. It is less than or equal to, so it could be this region or this region. Let us read on. Nearer to AD than AB. Which line is demarcating AB and AD? This is the line demarcating AD and AB. So I thought to say it's nearer to AD than AB. Nearer to AD, AD is this side. AB is down here. So meaning this is the region we are looking for. So we are going to shade this region and then we are going to plug in the value which is E. So for this one, I'll use a short ruler. So I can actually try to do it this way, like that. So you have to shade the entire region and you have to make sure that you are as neat as possible. Also try to make sure that the lines are not protruding outside the region, the intended region in which the point should lie. So I've messed up there. Okay, so this is our region. So what is the point? The point is supposed to be E. So inside this region, we're now going to say E. Okay, and we are done with that question. Okay, so that is pretty much how you're supposed to answer this question on construction. All right, so we continue answering this question, this question paper. In the next session will be, which is going to be at 18 hours. That's when I'm going to post the next video. I'll be answering the question, the next question. I've forgotten what it's about, but yeah, you'll see the video. And yeah, that's that. Otherwise, thank you for watching. If you found this video useful, please make sure I give it a like. That would let me know to say someone actually benefited from this content. And if you know anyone who would also benefit, please invite them over, especially those that are writing grade 12. These videos are meant to help those people. So if you know anyone writing grade 12 this year, invite them over so that they can be able to benefit from these free lessons I am currently offering. Yeah, otherwise that is that. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.